Welcome back to Spyro the Dragon. At the end of the last episode, we finished the fourth homeworld, Peacemakers. And we also finished what many believe to be the hardest stage in the game, which was Treetops. So in this episode, we are setting out for the fifth homeworld, Dreamweavers, where we will take on many more difficult stages, and we are actually that much closer to facing off with the Nasty Nork himself. We are just one homeworld away from getting to Nasty's world, which is the final homeworld of the game and the final area. Welcome to Dreamweaver's world. Now this homeworld, I have to say, I really like the way this looks. This is probably one of my favorite ones, apart from maybe Artisans. And believe it or not, I really did enjoy Magic Crafters, even though some of the stages in that homeworld were kind of tedious at some points. This one looks just very beautiful. It's very colorful. It feels very full of life. And as you can see here, we are actually introduced to some more new enemies. This place is going to be filled with a bunch of new enemies that we have not yet seen before, and I'll kind of talk about some of them here right now. So what we have here in front of us are a variety of different creatures. We have these guys, which are monks, believe it or not. The ones that are kind of dancing like crazy animals are the carrot top monks, but we also have some that are actually covered in armor, and they are the armored monks. Now, the armored monks are a little bit special. Because you can actually not take them out without one thing happening in particular.
Welcome to the Dreamweavers, young one. While chasing Nasty's minions in this world, you must expect the unexpected and prepare for what is not there.
So that dragon's giving us a kind of an interesting hint this time around. So this world is pretty special. It has, it's pretty unique. It has a lot of different gimmicks in it that I kind of like. Some people may disagree, but I do enjoy some of the things we will be kind of facing off with here. As you can see, we already have a few stages that are kind of in sight here. But we have, like I said, a lot of new enemies. So these guys right here are the armored monks. So these guys are actually not... So you can actually not take these guys out unless they are in their smaller forms. So you saw there that there was actually, it looked like a spell being casted upon those guys to enlarge them. And we can actually take control of that weapon that is being used to do that. There's actually another monk that's actually controlling it right now. You can see him up there on that cliff. But like I said, you cannot damage those guys once they are enlarged. You have to wait until they're in their smaller form. And then you can actually take them out with Spyro's charge attack. So kind of interesting. The only problem with that is, as you see over there on the very left of my screen, there are two armored monks that are in our way, blocking a path. And they are enlarged, however, they will not resize down to their smaller size. But now that we have taken out the guy that was up here running this little, looks like a magical cannon of some sorts, we can now fire away, and we can actually take control of that ourselves, which is actually really cool. I wish they had given you some more like weapons and stuff like that in some of the other homeworlds, because it's just a really cool idea having a little weapon in there, being able to control different sizes of enemies, basically giving yourself access to specific paths that you normally wouldn't be able to do without doing something like that. But since these guys are now smaller, we can now actually take them out. They will still attack us, but they are very easy to dodge. So I believe you actually have a timer that you are on once they are brought down to their smaller size. You kind of have to move quickly in order to damage them, or else I think they will resize up to a larger size again. But that's kind of cool. I like that little gimmick here. Here we have another gimmick, and this is actually going to be very common in some of the stages we're going to be seeing here in this home world. So here we have what are known as fools. These guys come in a couple different forms. These guys are actually the clock fools. And as you can see there, once we flamed them, they essentially hid in these little clocks. So they actually do not die completely. You actually have to just temporarily stun them in order to proceed throughout your path. Now you can see there that once the clocks actually started their timer, that gave us access to some platforms that actually rose up. Once those timers go off, the platforms will lower again, making your path inaccessible.
Hello, Spyro. Nicely done. I'll be done when I've toasted that nasty Nork.
And also something to point out is in this home world, I think another reason why I really like it is because it has some pretty unique dragons in it. You can see the designs of some of these dragons are pretty cool looking. Like that guy had a really long neck. He kind of reminded me of a giraffe almost, the way his, how long his neck actually looked. But yeah, overall, I really like this home world. It's actually really fun to explore around. The last one we just came from, Beastmakers, although it is pretty cool looking and it felt very spacious, being able to roam kind of freely around a giant swampy area. I just didn't really care about some of the enemies, and just like the environment itself is just not very pleasant to really see when you're kind of exploring also.
The fools you see in this world are invincible. But that does not mean they shouldn't be attacked.
Sounds all right to me.
But this home world, however, the Dreamweaver's world, is actually a lot more fun to explore. It looks a lot cooler. Again, the colors are a lot brighter. It feels kind of like you're in a fairy tale setting here, where you're gonna find like Cinderella around the corner or something crazy like that. It has a very different feel to it. And these gesture guys, or these fools, are just kind of a nice touch to it as well. They just kind of have a cool little vibe to them as well. And even though, like that dragon just mentioned, they are in fact invincible, you cannot actually kill them at all. It is kind of cool having the gimmick to where they open up specific platforms or specific passages just by stunning them. So kind of cool. All right, so I actually want to go ahead and take this little air current right here. We actually want to get back up to this little magic blaster thingamabob. I'm not exactly sure what you would call this thing, because we have another armored monk we want to go ahead and blast, get him back down to smaller size, because if we take care of him, he has another gem inside of him. So again, that's actually important to take care of all those guys. Just like with any home world, obviously, you want to make sure you get every gem that are actually located inside of the enemies as well. So, but now that we've done that, I want to actually head over this way, where we will find the last of our remaining gems. Very nice. So not too bad. We didn't really spend a lot of time at all getting the collectibles here in the home world. It's probably one of the easier ones to find the collectibles. You just have to kind of take some time to use that little weapon up there, but it's very fun to do that. But right now, we're going to go ahead and take on the very first stage in Dreamweavers, and it is Dark Passage. So even though we just kind of explored around a very bright and colorful, fairy tale looking world, something maybe out of like a mythical story or something, we're now entering a dark location. So kind of a twist on things to come here. Again, I really like the view that we get from Spyro. He's actually facing directly towards us this time. We've seen that a couple of times in the past home worlds that we've seen. And I just still really like the fact that his angle that we see him flying in from is a little bit different every time. So but now we have entered the first stage. We have, again, a couple of new enemies here. We have armored turtles, which again are actually going to be affected by the fools. They will actually still cast spells on some of the enemies here, enlarging them, making them impossible to defeat. Of course, you can only take them out once they are brought back down to smaller size. They return back to their little cute, small, turtley selves. So once they do that, you can take them out, of course.
The enemies here can be quite frightening, but you should watch the fools.
I'd rather flame the fools.
Now you're thinking.
All right, so actually starting right here in this video, I'm actually having to record my commentary over again. So just wanted to kind of point that out. I had some audio issues. For some reason right here, I recorded my voice audio for the entire episode, but for some reason it started to change its pitch on its own, and I sounded like a chipmunk or something. I don't know, it was kind of weird. But anyways, yeah, so basically this is the first stage of Dreamweaver's world. We have a bunch of new enemies here. These Cupid guys are quite annoying. They will fire these flame arrows at you pretty consistently, so you kind of have to avoid them.
Thank you for releasing me.
As you can see, we have more of those fool guys in this stage. So the fools in this stage are pretty similar to how we saw them in Dreamweaver's, the home world, except these guys are holding lamps. And again, they are invincible. You cannot actually kill them. However, once they are stunned, they will hide underneath their lamps. And the lamps are actually their way of enlarging the enemies in this stage. So the turtles that you see that are in armor, as well as those demon dogs, the little cute, well, I don't know if they're cute, they're kind of ugly. The dogs that essentially turn into devil form, they will do that based off of the fools casting spells on them. So once the fools are stunned, they will minimize back down to smaller size.
You know, I think you just might be the dragon to defeat Nasty Nook.
That's me, all right.
So this stage is actually pretty unique. It is essentially a giant cave with a bunch of different pathways you can take. As you can see here, we have already made it to the return home portal, but we still have a lot left to do. The first thing we want to do is actually take this lower cave entrance right here, and as you can see, we have a nice trail of gems. We have more of these enemies, and of course more of these lovely Cupid guys. So we want to make sure we take care of them within our path, of course. The mushrooms in the stage are going to act as the food source for sparks, so you can use those to refill your energy if you are low on health, of course. We have more boxes of fireworks. We, of course, want to take care of them in order to collect all of our gems that we need for this stage. And yeah, like I said, this is a pretty unique stage. We have a dragon statue way up there. It's definitely out of reach, so we'll have to find a way to get around and over to where that is. Again, this stage has many different pathways you can take, and again, it's just kind of a series of caves that you have to kind of travel through in order to get to where you need to get. We'll go ahead and take this air current back up. This will take us back up to where we just were, and we will have to, and now we will set out for the next path. As you can see there, we have a locked chest. We can't do anything with that yet. Not too far from the entrance of the level, you can actually look way out in the distance and you will see another pathway. There's the entrance to the level right there. We can't get out there quite yet, but keep in mind that we will still have to go over there. So going back to where those mushrooms were and where we were looking up at that dragon statue, you will actually notice there is a pathway we can get to right down here. I didn't notice it before, and I had to kind of backtrack to remember where to go, but if you glide, you can actually make it over here, finding a bunch of more collectibles. We have, of course, more of these armored turtles. Again, once you stun the lamp guy, or the lamp fool, they will go back down to normal size, allowing you to take them out. And then there's an air current right here. That'll send us back up with a bunch more enemies, and there's another dragon statue for us to collect right there. So very nice. A bunch of stuff right here, as you can see. Yeah, I'm kind of going crazy, just kind of collecting things here. This stage, I will say, is pretty much filled from top to bottom with enemies, so that can be kind of challenging if you're just trying to, you know, maneuver from one point of the stage to the next, and you have a bunch of enemies in your way. So.
Thanks, Spyro. I'd love to help you catch Nasty, but I'd really hate to be trapped in Crystal again.
Don't worry. The only one that's gonna be trapped is him.
We have more gems on this little stairway right here. We're going to go ahead and collect those as we make our way upwards. More Cupids from hell. You gotta love them. Those guys would actually be nice if we had something to throw back at them. You know, I wouldn't mind some fire arrows, kind of like, you know, if we were Link in The Legend of Zelda. But we are a dragon, so I guess, you know, having flame breath is enough for us. So here's this dragon statue we saw before but couldn't get to, and now we can.
Thank you for releasing me.
Love the dragons that are men of very few words, because they really don't have to waste too much of our time here as we continue collecting these collectibles. We can now glide over here now that we got that dragon statue and we were able to get to that higher point. This will get us more collectibles and more enemies from hell, apparently. Yeah, those Cupid guys, they are probably one of the more cocky enemies in this game, just because they know that they're about to cause you a bunch of hell and they don't even care. So go ahead and collect some more gems here, and I think that's about does it for this little passageway here. We cannot go back. This is a point of no return, but we have an air current, so we'll go and take that. That'll send us back up here. This is another trail of gems, and if you notice, yeah, we are in familiar territory. There's a firework right here. We will light that bad boy off, and you know what that's gonna do? It's gonna blast open that locked box, getting us more gems. Very nice. And I think that's going to be close to the end. I think this actually might be the last pile of gems here. Let me see. It is. Very nice. So very awesome. So that is the rest of the stage, 100%ed. And we have nothing left to do here other than to warp into that portal, sending us back to Dreamweaver's world, of course. But yeah, stage 1, not too bad. I have to say, for this being the 5th home world of the game, they give you a pretty, for the most part, easy first stage. I can't really say that about the other two, but we have another one coming up where we still have to make some pretty crazy jumps, so I guess we'll kind of talk about that once we get there. But yeah, like I said, I do kind of really like Dreamweaver's world. It's probably one of my favorite home worlds. And again, for it being kind of the, essentially the next to last, for it being the home world that is right next to the last one, it doesn't really feel like it's that hard, in my opinion. There's still stages we have coming up that are a little bit more challenging than this one, but we'll see how that happens, or we'll see how we do when we get there. We have now traveled back to the home world, and we are moving right along to the next stage. This one is going to be kind of interesting. I do like this one as well, and I do like the aesthetic with it, and essentially the environment as well. So we'll go ahead and travel right over here, and here it is. This is actually Lofty Castle. This is going to be the second stage of Dreamweavers. Get Sparks some nice grub there as we enter the second stage, and here we go. We're just going to soar right into the castle and save the princess. Oh wait, that's actually the wrong game. Never mind. Spyro just looks just as beautiful as ever, of course, as he's flying into the stage. But yeah, I really don't know what happened. My audio, I've been having a problem where every now and then I will record my voice audio, and it, for some reason, will just kind of change the pitch on its own. So I'm not sure if that's like a bad audio driver on my PC or what it is, but I need to really take a look at that problem. But here we have Lofty Castle. I just want to quickly take a moment to take in this environment and this awesome music. Oh man, this stage feels so peaceful. I always like revisiting this level in particular. It just has a very, I don't know, just a very peaceful and relaxing vibe to it. And that's actually going to be kind of ruined by these enemies here. We have these puffed up chicken, birds, whatever the hell you want to call them. They are kind of goofy looking. Another enemy that we have here that are kind of unique are these balloonist Norks. So these guys are going to be holding on to balloons. If you flame their balloons, they will fall down to their death, and they will actually scream a very gruesome scream. One thing that's actually kind of interesting about this stage is there are going to be more fairies that we are going to be seeing. However, the fairies in this stage are actually kept in cages. You have to break open all of these cages in order to free the fairies. Each section of the stage has 3 fairies that are locked in cages, and once all 3 fairies are released, they will give you access to the next section. If you look at that cage, it's actually very cruel, and I actually never noticed that before. So where it actually says on the cage specifically to not feed the fairies, that's very dark indeed.
fairies are always on your side, Spyro.
That has to be one of my favorite dragon designs of this game. He is such a cute freaking dragon. Like the dude is like holding a doll. Like he's got his little dolly as like his little protection, it seems, and he just seems very innocent. Like he's almost like not supposed to be a dragon or something. Like he does not seem like he is fit for this type of world where all this craziness and all these monsters are wreaking havoc in it. He's just kind of doing his own thing and just kind of, you know, helping Spyro out, but kind of, you know, staying his keeping his distance a little bit. I don't know, he just kind of reminds me of like a cute little innocent dragon that never really belonged, never really fit in with the other dragons or something. He just kind of doing his own thing and just kind of enjoying life. We're going to continue onwards. This stage is pretty large. There is a lot to explore here. You can see we have a locked box there. We need a key for that one. We actually have more fairies that are locked in cages down here. And we actually do have another crazy jump we do have to make. Not quite as crazy as treetops. That was probably the craziest jumps we're going to see in the game. But we will find another supercharge ramp coming up very soon that we'll be taking that. So, but if we head over here, as you can see, there's more of these balloonist Norks. We have actually more of these devil cupids that are firing their flame arrows at us. I'll go ahead and take care of these Nork guys, and as you can see, yeah, he falls right down to his death. Again, I don't know what it is about that. Maybe it says something about me, but I always enjoy the fact that those guys fall down and they scream. I don't know why, but maybe I just have something wrong with me. Another dragon we'll go ahead and save over here.
Thank you for releasing me.
We have more of these caged fairies. Again, they are being treated very unfairly. Get it? Fairy is being treated unfairly. Anyways, yeah, it's kind of cruel that they're actually, you know, Nasty Nork and his minions, you know, obviously they are not doing good things here in the world of Spyro the Dragon, but to have a cage that literally has a sign that says "Do not feed the fairies," like, I don't know if they like expected somebody to just kind of stumble upon these cages and just kind of go, you know, wonder what the hell is going on, and you know, they see that sign, I guess, kind of giving them the idea that they shouldn't feed the fairies. I don't know, that's kind of cruel. I don't know, for such a magical and bright and beautiful place like this one, it kind of seems like it's a pretty cruel thing to do, especially to a fairy. Like, a fairy is like the most innocent, pure thing you could ever find in the world of Spyro the Dragon, I would think. So I don't know what the hell they're doing, man. It's just very cruel. There's a lot of cruelty going on in this world. But anyways, we will continue on this path, and again, we have more stuff to do here. We have more gems to find, more fairies to free, and more Norks to flame. All kinds of good stuff going on here. I'm not really sure what I'm doing at this point. I think I remember backtracking just to make sure I didn't miss any gems or any pathways that I might have missed. But yeah, I was going the right way the whole time. I don't know why I decided to turn around there all of a sudden, but we eventually get back where we need to go, and I kind of get things straightened out for the most part. So we have more mushrooms there to refill Sparks' energy, and we have more of these chicken things that look ugly and fat. Here's where I die in a very embarrassing fashion. Alright, so right here is actually a different part of the stage. So once I died, I respawned from the last checkpoint that I hit, and I actually decided to go and explore this part of the castle. You can find a 1-up oyster right there with another dragon 1-up, so 1-up dragon, so very nice. Not exactly sure what I'm doing at this point. I think I decided to kind of turn around again, just look for any gems that might be hidden in the grass, because again, this is another stage where you can easily miss gems that are just kind of hidden in some of the taller grassy areas, and this is definitely one of those type of locations. So I end up taking this air current up here, just kind of trying to get a grasp for where I am, and making sure I'm going in the right direction, because again, this level can be done in a very non-linear fashion. You can kind of explore a little bit around in really any order that you want, which I think that's kind of the case with most of the stages by this point. But yeah, I eventually figure out that I am not supposed to go that way. So I end up heading back to the actual castle, and I actually go back through this little doorway. You can see there's an air current up here. Now this part's actually pretty cool, and I kind of screwed this up on my first attempt, and you'll see here coming up, but the second attempt I get it right. So there's actually a trail of these balloonist Norks, and there's also fairies in cages. What you're meant to do there, as you can see I screwed it up horribly, is you're supposed to glide through that little trail and flame all of those Norks and fairy cages in your path. It's supposed to be a cool little thing where you just do it all in a row. I got one of the fairies in the cage there. There's 3 of them, just like with all the other sections, but there's a couple of Norks that are holding onto balloons. So on the second attempt, I actually managed to get the rest of the targets. So as you can see here, boom, got one of the Norks, boom, got another Nork, and then there's 2 fairies right there in the cage. So we kind of blasted right through that. That'll do it for all the fairies in the castle. So they now give us the power to take it again, another air current, and it takes us to a dragon.
Ah, Spyro, thanks. Supercharge will get you to new places here in Lofty Castle, too. See where it takes you.
So this is the point where they give us another supercharge ramp. This is the only one in the stage. Also, this is where you will find the key to that lockbox that we will have to go back and backtrack to here in a bit. And I'll obviously end up doing that. But here is the supercharge ramp. So I actually do it completely wrong on the first time. For some reason, I jump to the left when you're supposed to jump to the right on that ramp. I screw it up, but then finally correct myself and just kind of glide back right in front of that castle. And here I'm just kind of looking around, just making sure that I am doing the right thing, which I clearly am not, you know, for the most part. So at this point, I decided to say screw it, and I actually abandoned that supercharged jump. I do come back to it later, but here are some more gems we can find in these chicken enemies, and as well as more fairies that are actually being locked in cages. So this is actually the final group of fairies that you need to release, and that guy was very courageous. He actually swiped his shield at me, even though I completely ended his life there as he just kind of fell down to his doom. But yeah, this is the final 3. This is where the final 3 fairies are being held. So what I'm doing here is essentially just kind of releasing them from their awful imprisonment. And we actually take that final air current, which takes you up to the return home portal. But as you can see, I have not collected everything that I need to collect. So I need to use that key, and I need to go back and retry that supercharge jump. Alright, so this is actually where the locked chest is, where you need to use the key. If you remember, it's way down here in the grass in that little central area in the stage. So I find myself under a tree at this point. This is where I was kind of, you know, pondering my life and kind of trying to figure out what the hell to do. I actually kind of got lost here for a second, so I kind of cut all that unnecessary footage of me wandering around out. But I did figure out that there is a platform with a bunch of gems, but we can only get up there by doing that supercharge jump. I actually took the wrong air current there, so I had to kind of, you know, again, kind of rethink my life and take the right air current this time around. So I kind of circled back around in this part. And this is where that dragon was. We hit a checkpoint there, and we are back now to the supercharge ramp. So this is the only one in the stage. This time I actually do it correctly. I take the right path that time, swerve around, and I miss my jump here on the first try. On the second attempt, it goes a little bit better. We actually take the path correct again, and this time around we make the jump, and this is where the rest of the gems are, and a couple of mushrooms just in case you need those. The last group of gems are actually going to be in that box of fireworks. Blasting that sucker open will get you the rest of the gems if you of course completed this stage in the order that I did. But that's going to do it for Lofty Castle. Again, not too bad. One kind of somewhat complicated jump, and that's pretty much it. So taking that air current back up to the return home portal, it is time to exit the stage and once again return back to the home world. So even though I did cut a significant amount of footage out in this stage, again, I don't think these stages are that complicated. However, the one coming up next is a little bit of a different story. As I'm kind of watching Spyro glide back into Dreamweavers, I do have to say that I am still very much pumped for the new Spyro game, which is coming out in spring of 2027. It's actually Spyro: A Realm Beyond. very excited for that game because it looks like it is going to follow a very similar formula that the original trilogy games did. And I have actually not been that excited for a Spyro game since this Reignited trilogy was actually released in 2018. So very pumped, very excited for what's to come with that game. It does look like they're going to take the flight mechanic to a whole different level, and they're going to do something kind of cool with it. But we've only gotten one trailer so far. But I think that overall it is going to be a pretty awesome game for the most part. But next time on Spyro the Dragon, we will be taking on the third stage, Haunted Towers. I will see you then.